Hello, hello, hi guys, and welcome again to It's Momo. I'm Momo here, and thank you for joining me today on this channel. And I really appreciate you guys for tuning in to this channel every single time and just listening to me. It just humbles me, and thank you so much. So, what do you know about rent? Rent. Do you live in rentals? Do you live in rentals? Or do you own a farm? Or you live in your own plots? You bought a plot, but you used to live in rentals. What do you know all about rentals? And today, I want to talk about rentals, living in rent houses here in Nairobi. And it's one of the things that scares a lot of men and women who rent their houses in Nairobi. But especially men. I don't want to talk about women. I want to talk about men. Because women, it's a bit, for them, I don't know. But let me talk about men. And men, especially when you have family, you have a wife and children, what really scares you about rent? Have you ever missed a payment? Have you ever been chased away from your house, your rental house in Nairobi? And what really happened to you? what were your choices and what happened? Because if you really don't have a stable job, if you really don't have a stable job or a steady income, maybe you're doing business and the business is not doing good. Sometimes the business can go up, sometimes down, and what do you do about that? And are you tired of paying rent? Not that I'm selling any land, not that I'm going to give you any option. I just want to know what really goes through your mind. And was your house closed? Was your house closed ever when you're living in a rental? As you know, my previous episodes, I went to the village, and one of the things that I realized there, it's sometimes we run to Nairobi so that we can have sometimes good life, or we can have maybe job, we can find job, and the city is a good place where we run and come and just find a job, and the next thing is just renting a house. Maybe you are living in the village and then you decided, now I'm tired, I don't have a job here, let me go to the city and look for employment. And the next thing will be you have to rent, because Nairobi, there's no free house like your up country, your village. There's no free house, there's no free food, there's nothing for free. And these are the things that really scare us, because you have to find a job, and that job, you have to maintain that job so that you can pay your rent on time. Not even if not on time, but regular, you can pay so that you can just survive on live. And shelter is just one of the basic things that you need, shelter and food. But shelter, one thing, you can sleep hungry and have in your house, but nobody will know. But when you're chased, it's just when you're chased from your rental house, like, it will just be something shameful, and it's really bad. And I don't know why we are scared of that. But I found myself several times, because as I've said, my previous life, not my previous life, my life, I found my father and my mother living in Nairobi, paying rent. And I've never lived in the village, even a single month, never. Maybe a week maximum. And that is the maximum I've lived in the village. And I really admired what comes with the village, the zero pressure that people in the village go through. And because I couldn't stay in the village, when I went there a few days ago, a few days ago, I came back because I had left my family here in Nairobi, in Deya, and in Deya I pay rent, you see, and rent is always due every month, so you have to pay rent every single month. And now that I work on my job, and that job, when I'm not there, is not bringing anything, and rent is one of those things that you don't want to be chased, or your family to be thrown out of your house to sleep in the cold. So you have to really work hard and pay rent. And rent is one, I don't know what to say about it, but those people who live in rental in Nairobi know what I'm saying. It's the one of those things that scares a lot of people, especially when you don't have a job, especially when your business is not doing well. You have to somehow unaingiza kabaridi, because your landlord does not accept those explanations of yours every time you are late. He does not accept those explanations. He does not he can listen to your story like once when you miss their rent once, but when you do it twice, they will kick you out of the house, and just, they're not your friend. And never be lied that those landlords are your friend. You're just connected because you're doing business together. You're just doing business. Let me repeat that. Landlords are not your friends. Even if you live in their rentals for 10 years, 20 years, they are not your friends. You're just connected by your money and the house that you live in, but they're never your friend. If you miss two times, 3 times, you'll be chased out of that house, because they are not your friends. It's their investments, and if you play with the investments, they kick you out. And we as men, we try as much as possible to make our family more comfortable. We try as much as possible to live, to make our family live in this place, and that we end up working each and every single day, paying rent, and we don't have anything to do, because we think paying rent is an achievement. It's not. And a friend of mine once told me that if he has an opportunity, I was telling my friend actually that if I have the slightest opportunity in life of getting a certain amount of money, I will never live in rentals. I'd rather sleep hungry in my plot, or in a small farm that I bought, or I go build a house in my village and live there. The slightest opportunity I get, I'll go and build a house. And he told me that that's not an achievement. Achievement is going and investing in money markets. And maybe he was wrong and I was right, and maybe he was right and I was wrong. But now here comes my opinion. For me, the slightest chance I get, I'd rather buy land and build a semi-permanent house and live there. Even if it's for matope, even if it's a matope house, even if it's a mabati house, I'd rather do that than every day live in a stress of paying rent, while my money is in money market growing slowly. Now, for me, that's not my point. That's my point. I'll rather not put money in money market. I know we can argue, we can say this, we can but it's according to you. As for me, I can never leave my money in the bank. I have enough money to buy land and live and build a house, and I live in a rentals, as some people put it. No, I can never do that. I'll rather buy land, and in that land I find something to do with that land while I'm living in a semi-permanent house in that land, because it's I don't know what to say. Rent it's actually torture. Yes, I may have money in money market. I can withdraw whenever I want, which is okay. I can withdraw interest, which is okay. Me, I don't have a problem with that. But I'll rather have a land. Not that I'm marketing any land. No. I don't have. Actually, I don't have any land. The only land that I have maybe is the one that my father has left for me in the village, that was given to him by my grandfather. That's the only land I have. So here in Nairobi, or where I'm living, I'm just renting. And that's what I'm saying. If I get the slightest opportunity, I'll just do that. But I understand where my friend was coming from, because he was left with a land, with some rental houses. He's not paying rent, and he has some rental which his grandfather left for him. And so he thinks that investing in a money market, if he gets money, he rather invest in money market. But you see, this is what life does. You are eager. If you have a place, a land, and you've already built, now your interests change. Your interests change. They're not in rental anymore, but rather in investing. You see, that's where the difference is. As for me, first my family has to get comfortable. Then, after my family has settled down, that's a very, very big, and you'll agree with me, that's a very, very big responsibility. Not responsibility, but it's something that a lot of men wish to achieve in Nairobi. Like, just making their family settle down. You've seen all in the social media in Nairobi, everyone who makes it in celebrity, or wins the lottery, or wins all this money, or does this, the first thing you hear them say, I want to build for my mom, I want to build for my family. Why does that happen? And sometimes we think they are out of the money. You can just take that money and invest somewhere. After investing, you can no. Sometimes you can invest and the money goes. And all these people want to build the family for their family first, so that when their family is comfortable, when your family is comfortable, it can help you. It can free that space in your mind that has been carrying rent, and worrying every time end month approach. There's a worry that when every end month approaches, you have this worry. So you need, and it becomes a burden, and it becomes a baggage that you are always worried about every end month. And in order to take down that baggage, the first thing when you get a lot of money is just buy land and make your family settle. After your family settle, now you can invest in anything you want. You can buy your cars. You can go put your money in the money market, and nobody will ask you anything. Even the interest, you don't want even the interest. Even you won't withdraw the interest, because it will be useless. But it's just very funny when your house is being closed, your rental house is being closed because you're investing in money market. And it's one of those issues a lot of people don't know to do. I know, and it will reach a point in life where you just unless you have a more frequent steady income, like you're getting around 50,000 every month, you have a 50,000 which you don't use, it's just there for saving. Now you can invest that money in the money market and maybe wait for it to grow so that you can buy land and build. But our survival mode first, and you see other people who have made it, and I've seen a lot of people who have made it in life, is the people who have freed that part of their life, that they can wake up and do anything. They won't worry about rent. They can just go look for food. Food is just, you can eat anything. So you can go eat, just plant some skuma, just pick some things, and just live how those people in the ancient time used to live. Because I think when you have a land and you just leave it or just pour some seed on it, they will eventually grow. And it will always, not all lands, but most of the lands, there are something that will grow out of that land. It doesn't have to be sukuma, it doesn't have to be whatever, it doesn't have to be what you think, but there's something, even if there's that fruit that is called the wild fruit, I don't know, it's cactus fruit, I don't know, even that can grow in your land, and that can be food. As long as your stomach is full, then, and I have a place to sleep, I think your mind will start thinking of something different to achieve. But paying rent is not an achievement. It's not an achievement. But in Nairobi, we are told that narrative has really dragged us into thinking that paying rent is an achievement. It's not an achievement. And I'll rather save to buy land rather than save to invest in whatever, money market and whatever. I don't know. You can correct me if you want, but on the comment section there, you can correct me. But I'd rather buy land and build so that my family can live in a place where nobody comes to knock, nobody asks you what, and just have that peace of mind to do anything that is creative. And I don't know what your take is, and I don't know how those people who bought land, I don't know what made you tired of paying rent in Nairobi. Those people who have ranches, I don't know what made you buy those ranches and live the rental life. Because you can decide also to live on rental house and have all this money. Because I met some warrior, I don't know warrior, they are called Somalis. And the Somali told me he has a lot of money. He had like 3 million in the account. But he told me, I'd rather live in apartment and pay rent rather than buying land and living in my land. And I thought maybe that's easy. And he gave me his reasons, and I said maybe some people have good reasons on why they live in the apartments or rentals, and not maybe invest in land and maybe build their own houses. But I think for me, building your own house and on your own property comes with a little bit of freedom. A little bit of freedom. Not actually freedom, but a little bit of freedom. A freedom of your mind. Your mind can think of something different rather than rentals. It comes with a lot of responsibility also on how to maintain that land. it comes with a lot of let me say, it comes with a lot of things. And I think, and these people who have built their own houses in their land which they bought, they have these stories to tell. And I don't think they're foolish also, because when you're young you think these guys are just foolish, buying land and building a house. I'd rather live in an apartment until no. I don't think they are foolish. And it's just a matter of time when you just realize you'll be going in that direction. Because now when you're sick, like another artist who said he can pay 200,000 shillings to an apartment, he's not suffering. And he thought that is an achievement. She thought that that was an achievement. That was not an achievement, my friend, because when his dad died, when her dad died, he had to go start changering. You see, you're just one step away from a disaster. You're one step away from in an apartment, you're just one step away from a disaster, because you have 3 million in your account, or you have 20,000, or whatever she was bragging, like she gets endorsement, that there's an endorsement for 500,000, for 200,000 from different companies. What if those companies stop those endorsements and everything, and you're living in a 200,000 apartment in Nairobi because you're a celebrity? Then when your dad dies, you start begging for money, fundraising for money. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? And we think these guys are just these old people who are buying land and building their own for their family. We think they are foolish. They are not. They are not. And for me, let me give you my advice right now. Let me give you my honest advice. If you have money, just go buy land. I'm not advertising this land, but there's some good lands out here, very good land, very cheap. They go from 600,000 to 1 million to 5 million, where you can just build and live here. But if you're unable to do that, let's also build in our villages where we come from, so that at least when something like Corona comes, and we have seen a lot of people, a lot of families during Corona, a lot of couples separated, a lot of people were homeless during Corona period, and that taught us a very big lesson, that if those people who had their houses and on their land, they went back and started farming because there were no employment. They started farming, and right now most of them are doing actually well. But there are those people like us who struggled until the Corona, and it really affected and it really destroyed a lot of family, and there were a lot of suicides, because even if you living in rentals with your wife is just one disaster away, then your marriage won't work, and you'll start blaming each other. Yeah, you'll start blaming each other, and you think it's just your wife is not understanding you, or you're not understanding your wife, and it's just because some things you're not able to do during that period that you used to do. And you see, you are living maybe a comfortable life, and then all of a sudden there's a shift and it's not your problem, it's not your wife's problem, but you start all over, you start blaming each other. And when you start blaming each other in maybe in marriage, and things don't work out as soon as possible, the marriage fails. You see? And I'm not saying that buying land or doing this will secure your marriage. It won't. If your marriage is not working, it won't work even when you have that house, when you have that land. But it can contribute. It can contribute to a lot of things. So that was my take, and I haven't done a lot of videos, but I'll be doing a lot of videos. So what is your take on living in rentals? Do you want to live in rentals, or do you want to have your own farm and be stable in mind, or do you want to have a ranch? Or what do you think is the best thing to do, to live in rentals or buy your own land? And what should we do so that we can buy our own land? What do we do? And is money market bad or good? Which one will you prefer, saving on money market or buying land? I don't know. See you on the next episode. Bye.